All right, folks, we are live. Welcome to the show. I am Mike Asherbrenner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. Wow, folks, you are tuning in on our 7 p.m. Eastern show. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, don't be shy out there. We like to have a good time. It's 7 o'clock. Some places it's 4. Heck, some places it's probably morning or night. So thank you for tuning in. If you're not already a member of the Hounds, hey, we got to fix that, right? No strays out there. Feel free to network, get to chat with one another, have a good time. My goodness, can you believe summer's almost out? That's craziness to me. But I like the winter time. So yeah, I try to say winter, but it comes out winter. Hey, this ain't a costume. All right, folks. So here, get ready. We're going to get right into it. We had an amazing discussion, me and Beverly Neal Clinton, yesterday on the Mike King show on the ESPN RVA. Amazing time. And now we don't have to be rushed. We got an hour. We can have fun. And we have a blast. And this is what I mean. You can have a blast, build relationships, and get things done together. Man, my goodness, I'm living a dream. All right. And y'all make it possible. So now that I got the honest mush out the way, let me introduce Beverly, right? So first of all, we're going to have a discussion that may not directly impact everyone, right? You may not be in the health industry, but it does impact most of us at some point in our life. So listen up, tune in, and worst case, you'll probably know somebody that could benefit from what we're talking about today. And at minimum, you'll be able to make a contact with somebody who has as big a heart as they do business acumen in healthcare, especially when it comes to rural health clinics, right? They're on the front lines of patient care. But as we know, all right, far too often they leave Medicare funded revenue on the table simply because they don't have the time, staff, and systems to capture it. My goodness, right? So a lot of people are facing this. It affects the people involved at the healthcare level, but it also affects people that we love, maybe ourselves. So that's where Beverly Neal Clinton guys and Healing for Wounds come in. See, armed with healthcare leadership and proven track record. There's a lot of acronyms here that I'm not sure of, right? Remote patient monitoring, chronic care management, annual wellness visits, advanced wound care solutions. It sounds like the Batman or Batwoman, right? Of all of it. So we're going to be talking about unlocking Medicare revenue streams, improve patient outcomes, and building reoccurring monthly income, right? All kind of good things here to really help the patient, the people involved, all win-wins. I'm going to be quiet and just bring it up. So let's roll the intro and get this amazing lady on the stage.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbrenner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, if you're just tuning in, tell us where you're from. Feel free to interact. I'm going to be putting some comments in here for you guys to engage, right? Tag a friend if you're on LinkedIn, share this if you're on YouTube, and really get this going because a lot of us, like I said earlier, are affected by this in one way or the other, or very possibly could be. So without further ado, let's bring up this funny and getting it done lady, Beverly Neal Clinton. I don't have a soundboard because I don't like them, but so yay, there you go. There's your soundboard. How are you today?
Good, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be with you. It's never a dull moment. We both have weird
Mm.
senses of humor, and we get it.
Hey, what more could you ask for? I mean, like this is the I had a manual labor jobs for so long, firefighting, grunt work and stuff. Like people say, you working hard? I mean, kind of, but not compared to what I used to do.
Exactly. And let me tell you what the gift of those jobs are. The gift of those jobs is that you go in and you go like, I think I can do something else. And you know what? You go find it
Yeah.
because there is only so much your body can physically do, and then you're like, okay, that's it. Wait a minute. Or here's the one that my kids love with my husband. The huh sound. We know that's not a good one. Something got pulled, something was off.
Oh,
But if we look at each other and start going, huh, we know, yeah, something's off.
Oh my goodness. Yes, man. And by the way, Yolanda, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love Beverly. You're gonna love the discussion. So good to see you. Yolanda is always here. If Yolanda don't show up, I get sad. I'm not making that up. I'll be like, something's off. I'll be like, oh, Yolanda didn't come today. So thank you, Yolanda. You are amazing. Definitely connect with Beverly. She is something. So as you can tell, we have too much fun. She distracted. There's the other one I was about to mention, Leanna. Also gets sad when I didn't. I don't think I saw her last week. Maybe it was me. We have a lot of
Ah,
tech gremlins that are messing a lot of people's stuff.
oh, man.
Um,
Yes, 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 yes,
but
yes.
so good because you ladies are gonna love, just her approach. She won me over quick. Hey, that's not as easy as it may look, right? Because I like substance, I like character, and I got But she came equipped. That's what I'm saying. So, and then I sent what was it, Dr. Eugene. So then I threw Dr. Eugene. I said, well, I'll figure it out quick, right? Eugene, he's not shy. He knows what he's doing. And Eugene was like, yay! And I'm like, okay, that's it. If Eugene's clapping, it's good stuff, right?
I
So,
actually saw him earlier today. I listened to his show. Very informative speaker, very engaged. I learned a lot, especially with my husband having, he's now in his second round of recovery for cancer. But, listening to his podcast, I am always learning something new. He is really, Dr. Manley is really on the ball.
oh yeah, amazing guy, and I love seeing him come up. And we're going to be incorporating what he's doing into the Hounds Media Network, and that's great, right? Because a lot of folks are dealing with this. I mean,
Hmm.
and we want to be that one-stop shop. We really do. No matter what you're doing, we have some kind of resource, people, support that you can tap into to help you, right? Because you struggling and suffering through things, and we want to help you through that, right?
Absolutely. And education is the key. And then just looping back a little bit again to what Dr. Manley did today, I'd never heard of something called prehabilitation. Did you know about that? So, prehabilitation is the rehabilitation you do prior to surgery so that I know, so that the healing can be even more beneficial. And I was like, get out. They actually would have, his speaker today was focusing on the different and various types of exercises that you could do. Because I know I speak from personal experience that when you go through cancer, it makes you so tired. And, cancer brain is a real thing, but I learned a lot today from her. So yeah, that was a really good chat.
Uh-oh, say something.
Oh,
There you go.
hey, April, how are
I don't
you?
know what happened there. And I'm not seeing everybody's comments. Look, Nicole is in here saying hi. I was like, come on now. We don't have one person on this thing. It's the tech gremlins are real. I blame the
Listen,
solar flare.
I'm telling you, if I had a nickel for every time tech glitch, as a matter of fact, that's what my husband says. He said there's a certain tone that I get when I say his name. It's like, okay, I don't care what's going on. I better fix this because if not, she's gonna lose it. So no, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
and here's the other thing I think it is, Mike. You and I get together and we bounce off of each other, and I think electronically it like causes disruption. I
you
really
got that right. Our energy just short down any power station, satellite. Yeah, that's what it is. And then you bring all these amazing people, and then you got
yeah.
April.
Then
Yeah,
we all rise.
nobody's
That's
safe.
exactly right. There's a lot of energy going on right here now. A lot.
You got it. Well, let's jump into because I want these people to know, what I know of you, and even more. Right? I want to learn today. So let's just fly into it. First of all, it's about heart. See, that's why I like you and Eugene, Dr. Eugene Manley, and so many other people in the Hounds and friends of the Hounds. Right? It's not just the job. It's not just about money. It's not none of that. It is truly centered around the heart. You understand
Hmm.
people's struggles, their how it disruptive a loved one that has issues or health issues and things could be. And it's a real, people are busy anyway, like they got jobs,
Exactly.
kids, life challenge, and then you throw in an unexpected illness, and then they get
Exactly.
tossed into this system that I have found that even the people in the system can't understand half the time. Right? So anytime we
They're
can,
burnt out and they're stressed too. Exactly.
horrible. And so anytime I can help bring clarity, right? Comfort. Like I said earlier, if you're just tuning in, tag somebody who may be an interest of this, even if they're not directly related, right? Maybe they have a loved one, maybe they're dealing with stuff. That kind of mindset, because we all have something come up in our life. So even if this isn't your industry, you're going to get benefit probably now or later. Plus, you just met an amazing person. So, all right, Beverly, your journey And I don't say it's like as a fighter, right? Professionally and personally, really
Mhm.
shapes your work. That's the whole point of what I was jibber jabbing on. Can you share a little bit about your story, how it led you to build Healing for Wounds? Get involved with this.
Yeah, yeah. I wish it were an isolated story. I wish it were, oh, this is only applicable here. And that's just not the case. We have always had individuals where life sometimes just life just sometimes treats them very differently. So they may not decide to be in the big cities. They may decide to be in the more rural areas. Maybe they were in the military. Maybe there's some PTSD. Maybe there's some Agent Orange. Maybe there's things that they're still learning how to cope with in this world now. So they're a little bit more remote. They're not necessarily, like I said, in big cities. And and what I found was is those rural areas really have so many gems and pockets of gems of people out there. And those people may not have access to healthcare. Uh, when I say they don't have access, I mean I live in New Mexico, and you and I talked about this before. There are some hospitals that are so remote in the lower part of our state, they actually have to go to Texas. They whatever it is we require, it's not even here in the state of New Mexico. So they're having to go further away to get health care that should be available to everybody at all times. So what happens? These people are not thriving. They're really just surviving. And it's the community isn't as healthy as it could be because again, your resources are being shipped out. We work with some hospitals where they don't even have a full-time podiatrist on staff. They literally like borrow this person for 2 weeks and then they go somewhere else for another 2 weeks. And the podiatrist just travels all over the country filling in gaps. So you have these areas where they need help, but they don't have the resources there. The staff that they do have, they're tired, they're burnt out, they are working. There's a reason why they're called essential workers. We need them, and they're burnt out and they're tired. So they may not be performing optimally. So you have a lot of variables into this one equation that are not necessarily producing healthier communities. So how can we change that? That's part of what our mission is. Part of what our mission is to get out there in these communities, infuse them with resources that they require, alleviate the pressure on their staff, and then work with their patients so that they can be healthier, so that it becomes a win 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 for everybody and not a losing battle for the hospital or the clinic.
See, I did it again. I was like, I knew I muted myself. You know why I mute myself? Anybody want to know that before we, get back in the serious? Because I have a keyboard. It sounds like I'm going bang, bang, bang on it. It's real disruptive. I remember listening to that the other day. I said I wouldn't want to listen to my show, so I started muting it. So and now I'm talking like I'm doing,
It's
like
okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Mike, me and you, it's okay. Me and
I
you.
know it is. I think it's
It's
funny.
just me and you. Everybody else don't care. Me and you.
Well, you know why I say that? Because I see so many people, even like great successful people, when they do stuff like that, they go, "Oh my goodness!" And I'm like, "Listen, I do this for a living, and I still do it." CJ did it the other day. I said, "Yeah, it's not just me. Like if she can do it, I don't feel so bad, and I'm past it anyway. But back to the serious though, I really do. It is a strain. It's a strain, and here's the deal: it's not. It doesn't have to be as bad. In other words,
Mm-mm.
folks can make more money, right? Folks can
Mhm.
have better freedom, and we're going to get into that because you have some amazing stories that are just phenomenal. That of people that got back to life and it just eased it up. So it doesn't have to happen. It's not. It maybe not be easy, but it's not overly complicated. And you do have a
Exactly.
big solution for that. So let's get into a little bit because most folks think healthcare is just about treatment, right? But you've tied healing, right, to leadership, business, community impact.
Hmm.
So again, why is that personal to you? Why, like, because there's a lot of things going on. Why is that so personal? Because you could do a lot of things. Right? Why this?
I tell you, my husband reminds me that sometimes I have to I was a cheerleader in high school. Okay, so that tells you a lot
Oh,
about
me
my
too.
personality. See, that explains it right there.
They wouldn't even let me try out. So, folks,
Mike,
I
you'd
warned
have
you.
nailed it. Mike, you would have nailed it. You would
I
have
could have.
nailed
My little
it.
noodle arms, though, you had to have big arms to hold the people, man.
Hey, listen, my father-in-law was a cheerleader. That's why when you said me, I thought you were serious. My father-in-law was a cheerleader.
Nope.
Um,
I would have
but
been, just didn't have the Popeye strength. Go ahead. No, I can't be serious. Go ahead.
so my husband reminds me, Beverly, you have to put your pom poms down because I do. I take on a cause and I own it. I don't I don't sidestep it. I am fully committed. And when I found out about this program, I was like, how come nobody is talking about this?
Thank you.
This is like me living in the state of New Mexico. Everybody just doesn't even think we're part of the 50 anyway. So they just like jump over and go straight to Texas or Arizona, right? They don't even see us. And that's what I felt like with this. I was like, this is making a huge impact on our communities. And Medicare is basically saying, hey, I want to give you some money so we can have healthier people. And you're like, nah, that's okay. I'm fine. I'm going to just leave it on the table. And they're like, but we're willing to pay you and reimburse you so the people don't have to go to the emergency room because now the chronic condition has gotten worse. Or we're willing to pay you to keep up with the patients so that when they come and speak to you, they'll be more engaged. And you're like, nah, it's okay. Just do you. And I'm like, that's insane. Who does that? That's one of the ways that we're able to do better by our people. I mean, it's really the community. It's see now when I say this to you, I know you'll get it. Remember back in the day, if you temporarily lost your mind before you got home, you knew you was gonna get it, right? You knew it because somebody had seen you and they told and they called your mama and now you see, remember that's what community does. Community stays engaged with your overall welfare. These doctors who are in these communities are there to take care of those people. As they take care of those people get healthier. When they get healthier, the overall community gets healthier. Medicare is saying, hey, I want to give you some money to make sure that you keep up with these people and take care of them. And you're like, just, I'm going to leave it on the table. So I saw the big gap between having the conversations with the doctor saying, hey, listen, this is what's possible to help you, help your staff. Because, even with my primary care physician, I said, you know what? Every time I come in here, these people running around here like they got their heads cut off. Don't you want to do something about that? I had a conversation with her about the remote patient monitoring service that we offer. She was so excited. She went and found her office person. I, she was like, as soon as Beverly, actually, I put my clothes back on, and then I got ready to open the door. She was like already said she already had the guy brought him in to talk with me and said, don't let her leave without talking to her. So part of it is you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So for the ones who don't know, that's why we're having that conversation. And you're not going to be able to say that we didn't ring that bell because we just did. I rung the bell. I need you to hear this sound and know that this is a solution to a problem that you're dealing with that you really don't have to.
See that's whoa, if that ain't hound spirit, I don't know what is. Look, there's a big problem, right? People are struggling, suffering. There's an issue, and what you said earlier, that should be on a fortune cookie, right? What you said, um, that's what community is, right?
Hmm.
Is engaged in your overall well-being.
Hmm.
You saw a problem, said, "Hey, somebody needs to fix this. Like, why ain't this
Hmm.
happening?" And instead of whining and posting about it and doing all that stuff, right? It's easy. You took action. That
Hmm.
bravo, right? There you go. Because that's what we're about. I didn't just jump up and say, I'm going to be doing this. I said, but am I the only one dealing with this? No, there's tons of us.
No.
And
Hmm.
that's what I mean. And I love seeing you have the success that's rapidly snowballing because you really doing this because you care. And because it's not okay to just let things roll, right? And
No, it's
fall
not.
through the cracks.
And my team is the same way. They are so passionate. I have one person on my team who is a retired doctor. He came back because of this program. He said, I believe in this so much. I came out of retirement because he has a
Wow.
background in wound care. And that's what he said. He said, I see the efficacy in this.
Mm.
I see how this can make a difference in our community. And I'm like, there you go.
You're
And
not
when
alone.
people don't, yeah, yeah, I'm not alone. And
Yeah.
and
Oh,
and same thing with Dr. Manley. He saw the need, he saw where he could be an asset, and now he's that bridge. And that's where I find myself. I'm like, you have the background, you can speak the language. Because for me, these are all the things I've had to learn along the way. But when
right.
I'm talking to doctors and nurses and nurse practitioners who get it, then again, these are the people that are already in the field. They see exactly what's going on.
They do.
They've seen those wounds that have been open for years, which I can't even imagine, but they're out there.
Yeah. And and you got some stories. So let's dive into what people want to know, probably first and foremost, or at least I
Hmm.
do. And let's into the money side and the mission side of this, right? So a lot of clinics
Hmm.
are leaving Medicare dollars on the table.
Hmm.
Why are
Hmm.
so many missing these programs then? Like if
Uh,
it's
uh,
there, why are they missing them?
Part of what I see as to why they're missing it, in all honesty, like I said, they're tired. They're tired. They're overworked. They're short staffed. Um, and these are the programs, in all honesty, you know, you know what grunt work is, right?
Yeah,
Okay, this is the grunt work.
yeah, that's right.
We're doing the heavy lifting. We're doing, it's like I tell people, do you know why they pay people to write papers? Because those are the people that are doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
You know why they pay the lawyers? Because those are the ones that are doing the research. Do you know why? Because so that's why this money has been left on the table. When you look at chronic care management, or when you look at the annual wellness visits, or when you look at the remote patient monitoring, all of those things are time intensive. If the staff is already running around, they don't have any additional time to dedicate to these services that Medicare is willing to pay them for anyway. So we do all of the things that you don't want to do, and we have a dedicated service that does nothing but that. There's no additional overhead. They have no additional distractions. They know exactly which codes need to go in. They know exactly which patients are assigned to which counselors, and that's the other thing. The doctors always have full control over their patients. They never lose that. Where remote patient monitoring comes into play, and I'm going to break this down into three different ways that we generate revenue and help the practice. Now, the heart of what I do, without question, is the wound care. That's the heart of
yeah,
what I do. Now, the remote patient monitoring alleviates pressure on the staff because now they're the ones that are making the calls to the patients to find out if their vitals are good, or what's going on with their medication, or are there other things that they need to actually have put into their records, or can I remind them about their annual wellness visits. That's what the remote patient monitoring does. All of those things contribute to an engagement with the patient. Now the patient is now formally engaged with their own care.
right.
How does that help the doctor? Because they're having these conversations with the therapist, all of this information is being documented. Now, when the patient actually meets with the doctor, we have a much more comprehensive report of the patient of what's going on. They're not trying to remember, bring somebody in, write something down. Doctor's not trying to scribble all it in. You know, the time just goes by and maybe they'll give them pills. We want to work on that. That's going to be my next target. But that's another one. So, but for now, for this one, the patient is fully engaged. The doctor knows what's going on there. And I think that when the patient actually, when the doctor's firm actually works on their own annual wellness visits when they can, uh, I think by the time they do the math on that, it's maybe $23 per person. Whereas when we take it over, because of the added engagement that we work with the patient, that same 23, $24 has now gone up to like 72, $73 per patient. So we've tripled that. As a matter of, we've tripled the numbers on that. So that means that $100,000 that you were leaving on the table, that really can be 100 or maybe 2 to 3 times that number, because those are your people and staff. So we've taken that off of your plate.
So
All right, that's go ahead.
let me get this out because here's how I view it. Tell me if I'm wrong. You basically got a large buffet, right? So it's not that you just do wound care. There's a lot of things and a lot of things that can help indirectly and directly. So you're basically kind of a one-stop shop. Like, wonder
Hmm.
who I should talk to. Just call Beverly because either she can help you, or her company, or she knows people who could. Like, there's no
Hmm.
losses there. So
No.
let's dive into a little bit more because this is exciting to me. I don't know anything about this stuff, so I'm learning here. Um, how do these how do these programs give doctors and nurses more time for patients instead of adding more headaches?
Oh, great
Like
question.
especially when it comes to annual wellness visits and what they mean for rural clinics. Tell us a little bit about that because people overlook
That
that.
no, that's a great question. So what ends up happening is when you sign up for insurance, they'll say, okay, here's about 30 different things we're going to give you every year because we want you to do them, because if you do them, then you'll stay healthier.
Right.
And everybody goes, yep, 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 I'm doing them. They never do.
Nope.
But what they don't understand is by not doing those things like a glaucoma test or a wellness visit or meeting with your dietitian or meeting with someone for your blood pressure, what they don't understand is that by going to these appointments that are free to them anyway, it actually does monitor them more closely so that they can be aware of illnesses before they come. In other words, it's by engaging in their own patient care, they actually become more preventative for what could come down the road, because you're now already looking at it ahead of time instead of going, yeah, no, I'm not going to go. That's where the remote patient monitoring comes in, because they keep up with these things that are available for you, to you, and that are free to you. All you have to do is be reminded. Now, having said that, that's another data point that we found. We actually found that individuals who engaged with our remote patient care, they were less likely to have Alzheimer's or dementia, because they were actually, and they weren't going to be lonely. That's a big problem within the elderly community, is that they don't have enough engagement, so their memory starts to slack, and um, they tend to go to the emergency room more often because, again, that's where they find their friends. That's where they have people that they hang out with. Um, for the chronic care management portion of it, what ends up happening is, if we don't take care of those wounds now, they're going to get worse later. And when I say going to get worse later, imagine a person actually putting a diaper on a wound because of how much it leaks and how much it smells. Exactly. Now
I
imagine
actually
how
know.
that,
My wife worked in with a lot of seniors. It's a serious issue. I had no idea. Yeah, it's terrible.
so imagine how that's affecting the individual. Now imagine how that's affecting their family. And God forbid, if they're actually in a facility, what's happening there, how much attention can the staff provide to them. So that's why I'm saying, when you start looking at chronic wounds that are prolonged, it doesn't get better. And unfortunately, what people are doing, it's funny because I had a call with a guy in San Diego. I was very surprised that they were not using allografts. Because I said, I'm looking for a provider in your area. I have a patient, and I'd like to know if you can go to their home. And he was actually kind of defensive. He was like, no, no, we only do cleaning and redressing. I'm like, really? You only just use a scalpel, and that's how you debride, and you just redress. And that's all they wanted to do. I have to learn to walk away from those people, because that's the old technology. That's the old way of doing things. And that's what I said to people. We are evolving. This is the next evolution of what healthcare looks like without compromising quality. So he, I said, okay, fine. So I'm finding another provider. But I said all that to say this. Your wife has experienced what that looks like, having the diapers and all the other things. No one has to live that way. Not only do they not have to live that way, this technology, this regenerative medicine, this biotechnology, the Star Trek medicine, which is what I like to call it, can close that down in 6 weeks or less. So
Wow.
why would you not do that?
But
That's that.
I don't mean to be rude. Everybody else is getting excited. Remember that story you told on the radio show where the lady, it was just all that time and she was just miserable and everybody,
Yep,
her
yep.
family was,
And
and
she wanted to go
it,
on her cruise.
yeah,
Yep,
did you tell that? Because that right
yes,
there, that
yes.
makes it all worthwhile to me. I was dying for it. I'm sorry.
So no, no, no. So she was an older lady. She actually ended up getting her wound because she got up out of a chair and this trash can like nicked her on the back of her calf. And this lady was like super. She was a lively person, and this affected her to the point where she really wasn't that. She kind of reminded me like of Betty White. She was a little cheeky, and she would say things, and you kind of like have to watch her because you couldn't tell like if she was being funny or if she was zinging you.
Yeah.
But but all she really wanted, she was really being good about it. But all she really wanted was go on that cruise because that's what she used to do. Like back in the day, she was like a cruise maven. She like that was her thing, but she couldn't do that. And it started to take its toll because again her family's coming in and they're helping her, and so she's trying to deal with all that. Hold on, let me turn this down. Okay, on the phone. And all she wanted to do was go on that cruise. Honey, when we got her in to get her wound, to close down her wound, I don't mean to be funny. I think it was like maybe in a month instead of the 6 weeks. I can't remember. But I never saw that woman again. I didn't take that personally. My feelings weren't hurt because again, we did what we said we were gonna do. She got her life back. And like I said, man, you could tell that that lively person was in there, but you could also tell that she had learned how to navigate with the wound. Uh, it was just what she had to do, not that she wanted to. So yeah, once she started getting her life back, like I said, that woman was gone. And that's the way I think it should be. I think if there's anything that's a hindrance to you and we have the technology available to fix it and there's no out of pocket cost to you, why would you not take advantage of that? The only way you would take advantage of that is if you didn't know or if you didn't know better. And if you didn't know better, then that's another conversation we need to have because I think if you're walking around with a gash and that's okay with you, either you have normalized that behavior or you're just willing to be a victim. And I don't do well with either one of those choices.
Right. In most of the tech cases, it's just they don't know, or what I've noticed too in different sectors, right? That they had so bad experience that they're just scared. Like I am with the dentist. Like
Oh,
it's not that I don't want to go. It's just, oh man, every time I go, I might as well just smash my face into a moving truck. So and so if I ever went to a dentist that had everything great and it was a great experience, but it would be very hard for me to believe that that exists. Do you see that as well? And because I had imagined the stories I heard.
well, okay, nope, that's really a good segue, and I'm gonna tell you why. So one of the other things so with my company, I've literally like curated pieces to have this picture. So one of the tools that we offer, and I am so excited, it's called Exonics. It was developed by a Dr. Farrow in North Carolina, and he's a podiatrist. Uh, and I like to use this as an analogy because I think it just brings the point home. If I ask anybody on this podcast to just think of a lemon, everybody starts to salivate. That gland starts to kick in. And that's how people tend to respond for people who have chronic wounds when they see a scalpel. They tend to respond in that way because it's painful and nobody wants to run into that. I mean, not unless you're in S&M. Regular people are not going to run towards pain. What Exonics does is imagine a toothbrush. It's like an ultrasonic toothbrush that actually debrides the wound It cleans it all out. It gets rid of the biofilm, and it's actually massaging. It reduces the pain by 97%. 97%. So that means they're not going to have that visceral response that you see when they see that scalpel, because two things are happening. One, if this is their first experience, it's going to be a good one because again, it's massaging that area. And sometimes when you see wounds, they have this raised edge on the side of it. It's called an epibole. This tool can actually work with that area as well. So it cleans it out, it lowers the pain by 97%. So now the patient has this as their experience instead of the scalpel. Now they're actually going to be seeing the wound close down week by week. So that means the endorphins in their brains are going to be getting a boost because they can actually see their life coming back now, not just this thing that they have to work around.
Is that it on the screen? What is that on the screen?
Yes, on the bottom right.
Is that
On
it?
the
Okay.
bottom right. That is
No
it.
kidding.
That is
That looked
it.
like a little toothbrush, electric
I
toothbrush.
know,
Is,
I
is it
know,
little?
I know. And that's why I tell people just imagine an electric toothbrush. And we have three different sizes, because again, it just depends on the wound. And we have the little curette on the side as well. But either way, none of this is going to give you the pain that you previously experienced when you went to have this wound cleaned. And that's the other thing too. When you think about just cleaning it and redressing it, just kind of imagine mopping the floor. That's what you're doing. You're just moving the stuff around, and you're hoping that that's going to clean it out. But again, that's old technology. We have now got to start doing more with less, but more importantly, and I want to make this very clear to people, we do not compromise quality. We don't compromise the quality of care at all. I think a normal debridement might take 30, 35 minutes. I think with our tool, I think it takes us anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. So technically, instead of doing two patients, you could technically do two, maybe two and a half. And then you're saving time. They're going away happier and they're not in pain. They're going to be ready to come back that next year, that next week, because they're seeing the progress.
Okay, I almost talked on mute, but I caught myself. And number two, wait a minute, you said we do not compromise quality. That's good you said that because that was my next question. And if you said we did, I don't know. I guess I had to end the show real quick. I'll be like,
I would end the show about it. That's right.
where's the internet wires? Pull them out. No, no.
Get them in their tubes. Get them. Get them. Yep.
But see, that's why we do this. Because, I, I can't, I don't talk and worry about the rest of the world. But what we can do is make sure that we're giving people the education, opportunity, people who got, integrity and all the things that, because skill, I don't, even in healthcare to me, I mean, that's called bedside manner, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
skill is not enough nowadays. I'm convinced. I see it all across the board. It's trust plus skill equals boom. That's my redneck
Mm-hmm.
equation for success, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what's so
Mm-hmm.
exciting about this. I mean, you got Dr. Jeffrey. He's been in wellness and things forever. You got folks in here that are like absolutely, and I love that because that's why you do it. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
started the Hounds, right? That's why people are doing things. Dr. Jeffrey's doing his thing. Michelle's out there helping people. It's amazing. And these are just regular people that said, well, ain't nobody done it the last couple decades or centuries, so why don't we do it? And this is remarkable. So let's get because I want people to know a little bit more about, really the leadership and community angle. So this is what I thought was pretty cool too. Healing for wounds isn't just about patients, right? It's empowering the leaders inside the clinic. I mean, it's real basic to me. It's like, well, if your doctor's stressed out, no one's getting paid, and they're all worried about business and all this kind of stuff, well, then, yeah, maybe patient care is not going to get the attention it deserves. And as you said earlier, they want to do that. They got into medicine or healthcare to help people. So, on that note, how do you train leaders differently than just training staff? Is there a difference, or have you noticed that when you introduce these things and in general?
That's a good question too, and I'll tell you why. Because you have doctors, and then you have nurse practitioners,
Yeah.
then you have PAs, and then you have just your regular staff. What I've found is the doctors really are focused on providing the best health care that they can. So then that's when they'll bring in a nurse practitioner. So that nurse practitioner is actually who we look to partner with to help the doctor alleviate all of the stress that's on him as well as on the staff. The nurse practitioner, she acts as I like to say like an air traffic controller. She's still, she's got all the planes in the air and she knows where everybody is. And normally what I found is that they tend to be the ones to administer the allografts. So when I look at them, I'm saying, how can I help you? If I say to you, because one of the things I say to doctors when I talk to them, I say, I can spend $200, take your whole staff out to lunch. We can talk about what I'm going to talk to you about now, or I can take 20 minutes. I can show you how we can generate over $200,000 into your practice using one of our programs, and I can do it all in 15 minutes or less. Which would you prefer? They tend to go with the latter choice
Right.
because, again, what they're dealing with is how can they not be distracted? Lots of doctors, I'm going to speak specifically here about the state of New Mexico, are experiencing medical malpractice insurance that has tripled. An example of that would be a hospital that we saw that had um, they had their medical malpractice last year was 300,000. This year, their medical malpractice is 1.3 million, and the hospital only generates 1.6 million in revenue.
Well, wait a minute. Can you say those numbers again for me? Because did you say 300,000 and then what?
Last year, their medical malpractice was
Whoa.
300,000. This year, their medical malpractice is 1.3 million. The hospital only generates, and it's in a rural area, 1.6 million. So that same hospital staff, on average, had about their wound clinic had about 44 patients per month. So if each of those patients could generate 200,000, just each 200,000 times the 44 is how much? Enough to take care of their medical malpractice.
Right.
Exactly.
No,
And improve the health of the community and generate revenue for the doctor.
that number is staggering. If you just that profit margin alone, with for other expenses and everything else,
Mhm.
I know small business owners who couldn't. They're doing bigger numbers, right? Or they couldn't do the overhead. I could not imagine having people whose lives seriously depend on it
Mhm.
having to serve 44 with a shoestring budget. I mean, it's
With a shoestring
ridiculous.
budget. Mhm.
No, when the redneck is, like it's amazing when you compare like what I see on a daily basis and then what essential service this provides. It's sad. It's
Mhm.
absolutely because I mean, rural. You can't get much more rural than me, right? I mean, but
Or me. If you
right,
come up here, you mean to come up here. It's not like you was in the neighborhood. This is
you
like
got
you
lost.
meant to be. You got that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
you either got lost or you're on purpose, right?
That's
But
right.
we live where the GPS just stops. That's where you
All
can't.
right.
Yeah,
Look. We
yeah.
could go. Yeah. Mhm.
So get think about this. This is not even an afterthought. Like, oh, I'll get to it later. This is a necessity. These kind of things need to be addressed, and that's why you're doing this. And I
Mhm.
love the fact that you're out there just sharing, educating, and people in the know, movers and shakers, people who want to truly improve the system, healthcare, patient experience, doctors. Bottom line, there's not one or the other. It's everything. When
Mhm.
when when it all gets better, we all get better. Money gets
Mhm.
better, supplies, happiness,
Exactly.
quality of life.
Exactly.
There's no
E-
losing.
Exactly. It's the quality of life thing, and that's the other thing too that I want to share with people.
Right.
So when I'm saying that we can generate per patient, I don't know, over $200,000 for the hospital, The other thing that I want people to really be careful and think about is this, and I've said this before, you've heard me say it. I consider us star beings in that we have one head, two arms, two legs. And if you're on the beach, you see the starfish, that's who we are.
Right.
So when you have that person who now has some type of disfigurement, because I want to throw this number out at you too. When we're talking 200,000 per patient, that still is such a drop in the bucket because the cost of an amputation is $6 million and it leaves the person disfigured. So now that means that person has to figure out how to navigate in the world without their star being presence showing up. How does that affect them? How does that affect the people with whom they come in contact? How does that affect how they show up in the world? How does that affect their families now having to deal with how they're showing up? So it's not just a one, when this happens, it's a ripple effect within the community, within the home, within the practice. So how do we lessen those ripples, but still keep the person engaged in their lives? And this is how, because good news travels probably slower than bad. But if you've always known this person to have this wound, and now you see them spry, and now you see them happy, and now you see them going out, you're going to ask, hey, what happened? Because I just saw you, like, I don't know, a month ago, and you didn't look anything like that. They're going to tell you all about it. So what's that going to do for the doctor?
Yeah.
That's going to get him new patients.
And word of mouth, especially in rural areas, that's still faster than internet. Yeah,
Hmm.
especially if you go into Sunday morning, right? And
Hmm.
that's what you need. That's what we. That's why we're doing this. That's why the community, word of mouth, putting these shows together, getting the word out, because it's sad to see suffering, especially needless suffering. Oh goodness
Hmm.
gracious, right? It's like
Hmm.
saying I'm dying of thirst, but there's a bottle of water right there. Come on, somebody deliver the water, please. And that's what you are doing. Your team, the people you work with, folks around you. That's what it's about. And I love this because, I mean, I'm serious. I mean, especially when in cancer and oncology and things, it's so sad to see. Like I even saw a seasoned 30-year professional nurse not navigate the system as a patient. I'm like, what is this? Like, how am I supposed to do it? Like people like us. So I love the clarity
Hmm.
you're bringing to the table. I seen Dr. Jeffrey. First of all, I don't have the daggum graphic. We got to give a quick shout out because the Hounds community shows up, and my goodness, April Wyatt. We yell Tomo when April Wyatt shows up because she has the Tomo retreat. Oh, she does the
Ooh.
most phenomenal retreats. I mean, she pulls them out of thin air. It looks
Ooh.
like she's naturally good at it, and I love. I
Ooh.
can't wait because I love showing the videos. They get a lot of views because it's just so authentic. People are having a good time, but they're learning, they're engaging.
Mm.
So anyway, go check out April Wyatt here. Here, check out her LinkedIn, folks. There she is, WYETT. All right, go check out the profile. Send her a DM and say, "Hey, like know more about this," because either it's for you or it's somebody else. All right.
Mhm.
So, and this phenomenal. We're going to have her on soon to talk about it. And then we've got in the audience who is all about this. He was on the show yesterday. He can't get enough. Dr.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Berger, and we had Dr. Tahir Hussein on, and woo, man, they both made us look good. Oh wow, he drew a crowd on
I
Friday morning.
I am fully engaged in Dr. Berger. We are fully engaged. Yes.
Oh man, this guy. I mean, he just works hard. He educates. In, hey, I'm in marketing, right? I help people navigate this stuff. He had to overcome so much, right? Because the nonsense surrounding certain industries is just phenomenal, and he did. He spent
Well,
over
it's
a
the
year.
status quo. It's the
It
status
is.
quo. They don't want to change, and when you bring something that's slightly different or new, they're wanting to retreat, and you're like, no, you can
No.
never go back. We're moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's done it. He's got people educated. People are now feeling secure to ask questions. He doesn't dog catch them and chase them around. He just says, "Hey, I'm a
Hmm.
bug zapper." And Dr. Tahir, oh wow, that guy. I mean, he's up there talking about how he failed and lost a lot of money, learned from it, made more, teach other people. Like that's real. He's not just sitting in a coffee shop making stuff up to write books. He's out there in front lines leading this. And now their company right? What Viarta one, the Meta one, you
Meta
know,
one, the Meta one.
continuously grinding and working. It went from I don't know about this to accredited by Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Yeah,
Forbes and the article in Forbes.
in
Exactly. The
Forbes.
article in Forbes. Exactly. I
See
saw
what I
that
mean?
too.
So now, see, but you know what? I was blessed and honored to have the privilege before anybody really got that, and
That's
this is what
right. That's
Hounds
right.
is about, Beverly.
That's
So
right. That's right. I know that's why I came on because I was like, what is this? Tell me more about it. And then I have a son who's all into it. He's like, no, mind anything to do with that, do it.
there you go. See, and again, we're not bragging. We want the strays out there, people who, maybe doing alone. Maybe you feel like I'm not good enough, or there's something just missing. Hey, check us out. There's all kind of people in the comments. Reach out to them. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm going to give me a shameless plug because I want more of y'all in here. That's all I want. People say, "What's Mike want for Christmas, for holiday, for Groundhog's Day, any day?" You know what I want? I want more April Whites. I want more Michelle Smiths. I can't get enough. I'm like a Pokemon collector. I just I see April over there doing great stuff. I'm like, boom! I just stole the Pokeball. Grab one. Yeah. I know it's ridiculous. She's gonna kill me for that. But
No, no, no,
is
no, no.
is the truth. This is so much fun to see everybody just blowing up. And we got people who blew up and still shop at Walmart. I mean, like there's good people that do good things, great time. So again, if any of this craziness and that happiness, we're getting things done, folks. We're converting, we're making money, but we're having a ball doing it, as you can tell. So,
Mm-hmm.
don't be we don't judge. We just push people up here, man. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for
Yep.
that. And real quick, this man, he's got a community. I'm going to cut to the chase. He's taken losses. We're going to be putting the subgroups and community groups in the hounds. He's going to lead the charge. Amazing guy. This program is so simple, so easy, and effective that even the redneck connector can do it. That's it. I mean, it's so simple. It's simplicity. It's the mindset. He has put this community together. The whole shebang. He's sending this stuff out. I think it's like $10. It absolutely can't wait to get him re-engaged, fired up, and bring people to it. Because I sit here and work the business, as most of us do, and waste it away, not taking care of my health, and it's a problem. And this was the only type of solution that helped me re-engage mentally as well as take
Mm.
simple action. So thank you for cutting all the nonsense and just helping me and many other people that the hounds already have done this. It's great. All right. And then we got to give a quick shout out to Greg because Greg's got accolades like Tom Brokaw's resume in the franchising section. He really does. He's so humble, he's so down to earth, and he tells people what's in their best interest. So he'll say, "No, don't buy a franchise right now." Now he don't get paid to tell people not to do it. That's why we got the franchise maven himself because he cares about people and he's going to advise them and he's going to work with them. So if you're on the fence and you want somebody to educate and help walk through options, is it for me? Are there better options? That's why we put him up here because this man tells the truth. All right. Because a lot of people, sometimes you want to bootstrap it like me. Maybe you can't do a franchise, or maybe you just don't know what you don't know, like you said a million times. And that's why we got Greg. Greg educates you, help you out. And if it later is better, he's got a lot of people now, but you know what he's got? He's got a whole lot of people come back because he ain't dog catching, just like Dr. Jeffrey. He's just being patient and he's there to guide. So I had to show some of the folks that advanced this mission because we're on a movement right now. And thank you folks for stepping up. And of course you, Beverly, you do the same thing. So we'll put you up here. And we're not done yet. Don't leave because I want to make sure that for the folks who are watching who lead or advise clinics, or they have folks that they know, right? They can send this to somebody, or they know people in this space. What's the very first step they can take if they want to stop leaving money at the table?
Very first step, I tell them to stop saying that they don't have the capacity or that they're going to need more staff. They don't. We're going to work with the existing structure that you have so that you can remain and so that you can continue to control your practice. We actually do all of the heavy lifting, all the grunt work. We work with you so that we can take some of the stuff off of your plate. So you can go to healingsforwounds.com. There's a little questionnaire. You can fill that out, send that to me. My telephone number is 505 412 0995. You can always call me. Um, we are nationwide. We're still hiring people. So if maybe this is something that you feel in your heart is a calling for you as well, maybe what you do, you want to make a difference. This is the way to do it. I have never been more fulfilled. Um, and that says a lot because I have done a lot, but this is really fulfilling for me because the picture is much bigger than we are. And if you want to stop experiencing overwhelm and you want to stop experiencing burnout, give us a call. We're here to help, not like the IRS or the government, but we're here to help. And we're here to make a difference for your patients and for your community and your bottom line. Because I know that doctors only really want to just do health. They really don't think about the money, but you have to think about the money if you want your business to be sustainable,
Right.
if you
And
want it to continue.
who wants their doctor worried about money? I want you worried about my health. And this is what we're talking about. There's enough money to go around. It's about
Mhm.
knowing how to find it, access it, utilize it, because all that trickles down to patient care. See, you
Yes.
broke this down so well. Even the redneck and no, I'm not stupid, man. Don't tell me about certain.
No.
I'm not. I'm saying I know certain things. Healthcare and this is not one of them. But I can say something like that. That goes to your credit because you broke this down so eloquently, so simply, and that's what we need. We need everybody to be able to share and say, "Hey, the next time you encounter a clinic, a professional, someone with this wound care need, now you can just that Beverly, right? Like you don't have to know the industry. So thank you so much, and I want to leave you with this because this is what hit me the most. All right, I can't remember exactly what I asked you, but you'll probably get it. All right, what is your vision, right, for folks? What is it that keeps you up at night? Or let me ask this: as you call yourself, rightfully so, a fighter, what keeps you in this fight every single day? What's the vision? What do you really want to see happen in the next few years?
I want to see clinics actually thriving and not surviving. I want for the providers to not be as stressed. And I want to have the patients actually get the care that actually already belongs to them. They don't even know it. That's I think the more that's what's most egregious is that people are suffering and they don't have to and they just don't know.
Yeah.
That's my vision. My vision is to be the Pied Piper, having all of these conversations, making the connections between the patients and the doctors, and then creating a healthier community. That is my Willy Wonka version. If I could make it happen, that's it.
Yeah, I'm all on board with that. What's the fire department's mission, right? Most of them, if not all of them. I was a firefighter for 8 years. Zero house fires. People say, well, that's not ever going to happen. Okay. But I'm going to act like I can do it because that's how we have less fires, right? Like that's still the
Exactly.
goal.
You got to have the vision.
The vision. Grand, audacious, even ridiculous sounding vision. You know what sounded ridiculous? Everything technology we enjoy today. That sounded ridiculous at some
Hmm.
point. And this is what I
Hmm.
love the spirit behind it because you truly are doing the right thing and you've got the resources and the tools to get it done. And so,
Hmm.
folks, share this with people. Do you see Michelle's comment? She was just thinking that. What does Mike want? That's, that's right. More of y'all.
I was just thinking,
Seriously,
what is
more of y'all. That's why I exist,
uh,
in the capacity to help people, yes, but I love it. I love the privilege and the thrill of being around folks of all different walks of life, of all different, opinions and everything is just amazing because I never envisioned. I said, where can you find so many people who look different, maybe even are different, but at the core, at the little, that little milk dud in the middle, like, oh, we so much in common. So
hmm
because we share
we
that
have
humanity.
more in common. We have
Yeah,
more in common.
way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. People first. And before we're business people, we're people. And
Hmm.
that's something that stuck out to me the other day. Right. And guess what? I just said it, felt it, and then more Aprils and Michelle's came in. Like I was like, yay, right? So remember, folks, you know, Beverly she just made a decision. She didn't have everything handed to her, all the answers, all the resources. She just
Mm,
went out there and did it. And look what's happening. And now the snowball is compounding rapidly, the right people in the right places. And I can't wait. I'm going to load you up with some more folks. I went ahead and tagged them so I didn't forget. Now, we're going to get it going. And thank you for your service, what you do. And also, folks out there may not know this about you. I should have led with this. My Oprah style slipping a little bit. You are a veteran, military veteran of the U.S. So thank you for your service. What branch was it?
Marine Corps,
Oh,
rah.
oh, wow. Okay. So you brought the heat. All right. So yes, ma'am. Thank you for your service and sacrifice and what you're doing today
My
to serve
pleasure.
others. Folks in the
My pleasure.
comments, Thomas, you got that right. She is outstanding. I appreciate you and you being here, my friend. She does have a credible solution. And Thomas, we got to talk. All right. Hey, I know a guy. He knows, maybe he gets you in the hounds. Or, yeah, just tell him. I told a lady that the other day. I said, you go networking. I said, you tell him you know a guy. I'll be right there. See, that's what I mean. So we're going to be opening up a lot of things right now, folks, to really bring tremendous value to the things that business people of different industries, healthcare included, that you're struggling with, marketing, networking, visibility to the right places, getting on other shows, this show, getting around people who have resources and share this passion of using those for the betterment of others, right? Getting your product, your thing, to get the visibility, to get it out there so people go, oh, thank goodness I saw that, right? Because I'll tell you what, when I get hungry at 6 o'clock and a cheeseburger pops on the TV, that's by design. So you know what? I'm not going to say the name because I don't want a problem. But you know what? We're going to do it too. We're going to make sure that we put things like this up there so people struggling, and whether it's internally or whether it's with healthcare, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's all the above. And that's why we do this. And so thank you for the support. Thank you, folks who are supporting us, Power Partners, our sister organizations. We got Pantheon FM, we got Phil the Connector Community, of course, Dr. Constance Leland, Level Up Academy. We got to give these folks the kudos. And then special thanks to April Wyatt, too, since she's here, because somebody's got to help this stay on the ground. And she is absolutely amazing. And not to get her spill the beans, but she's seen where she naturally is gravitating towards serving other professional leaders, right? Entrepreneurs, because she has been such an impact with me. It made sense to say, hey, if there's it's a stressful job, this is a stressful career, entrepreneurship and business owners,
No, it is. It
oh,
is.
leading like you do and building a company and developing that company, it's very difficult. So, yeah, thank you, April, for helping me keep my toes in the grass with intention and really just to be a better leader. And so I just wanted to say that. And all the folks in here, all right, I'm going to stop love bombing everybody because everybody's going to be like, ooh. Uh, but I just have to. I am very, very grateful. And just hearing y'all's success stories keep me going. So appreciate you. And we're going to roll out the intro. Beverly, is there anything else you'd like to end on, or are you good? You want to share anything else?
The only thing I would like to leave with everyone is if you have a practice and you'd like to have real relief, I mean, you would like to experience what relief looks like because your staff isn't stressed, you've got a little bit more revenue coming through, and your patients are happier and healthy, then give me a call. That's what we deliver.
Oh, I did it again, dadgummit. Hey, never a dull moment. So, hey, no argument here. Folks, tune in next week. We have the business legend, Six Sigma Bad, you know what, coming on the show. It is absolutely, I'm containing it. I can't believe it, folks. Look what the Hounds attracts, the level, the heart. This guy, I've seen him when I fell in love, when I saw him on Jay Abraham. They said, who's Jay Abraham? Just Google it. I mean, boom, good hearted people doing amazing things. This man's coming on the show. So good hearted people, absolute legend. He's coming back for round two, right? So he's known for Six Sigma. His resume looks like the list of the Fortune 500, folks. It's amazing. Now he's taking a little bit of more pivot. He's expanding his offering to really help folks with culture, right? People, those kind of things. So he will be on here. Oh, bring a friend, invite, tag people. This is value. This is rubbing elbows.
Mm-hmm.
Networking is going to be off the hook in the network, in the comments. And we are just getting started. He's going to be on both the shows next week, and this snowball is going to be booming. So, folks, now is the time to be getting into orbit, checking out this crazy thing known as the Hounds, and connecting with people like Beverly, all the folks in the comments. Love you all immensely. Have a good day. And we will see you same time with the one and only Sabir Chowdhury, folks. Y'all have a good one. Take care. You're amazing, Beverly. Thank you.
Back at you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.